One World and One Lane are creators who are making a lot of that kitschy content still, which does really well on TikTok. But I do think that there is a thirst for learning about what's on each cheese plate and like why pairings go together. Yeah. And it's not just random things just for Instagram or for TikTok.
This is Taste. I'm your host, Matt Rodbard.
Today on the show, I welcome back Marissa Mullen, the author of a great book, That Cheese Plate Wants to Party, and also, hey, my traveling companion this upcoming summer. We're heading to Normandy, and we talk all about the trip. We talk about holiday cheese entertaining, and really, you know what? Marissa's just a fun hang. It's such a great conversation. I hope you enjoy it.
Marissa Mullen, welcome back to This Is Taste. What's up?
Hello. Thanks for having me back. So excited to be here.
You're always welcome back, Marissa. I love catching up with you. I follow you on socials. I was also watching the first episode of Real Housewives New York. Great season. I think Sai is probably my favorite heel. I like Jenna, obviously. I have a lot of Uba, of course.
Oh, we have a Roni super fan in the house tonight.
I know the names. But I'm like watching the after show, like with Watch What Happened Live, and I'm like, oh shit, Marissa.
There I am.
So you were on the Watch What Happens Live after the premiere, and you were out there with cheese.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so I didn't really have much context leading into this. My second book, That Cheese Plate Wants to Party, came out in April of this year. And Watch What Happens Live was something that we all thought would be really funny to book as the bartender. The bartender position is actually... It's great because you just stand there and you don't say a word. You just smile
Right.
and wave, and they give you like your drink in between breaks. So I was just sipping on a martini, just like watching all this go down. But I didn't know exactly what episode it would be. And so when I showed up, I realized that it was the full cast of the new season of Real Housewives. And I was like, oh, wait, this is kind of like a big deal episode.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing too is that I didn't see the episode yet because it didn't air until I think like 3 weeks after we shot.
Right.
Because it actually isn't live.
Yeah, I know exactly. There's no live in Watch What Happens
Don't
Live.
tell anyone, but
Yeah.
well,
Do you think Andy's like waking up, or sorry, like staying up at like 11 to like be in the studio?
No,
No.
none of these things are, but well, maybe some. But yeah, with this one, we taped it like 3 weeks in advance, so I didn't even know what the episode was really about, and everyone kept talking about cheese drama. And I'm like, what could be dramatic with cheese? Like, what's the big deal here? And then I watched the first episode and I was like, oh, that makes sense. And that's funny that they had the cheese plate out because the girls fought over the cheese and it was like a whole thing. But it was so much fun to do. I mean, everyone there is so nice, and all the housewives were great.
Yeah.
They were all eating the cheese plate afterwards. It was awesome.
Yeah, so were they eating the cheese? That's what I wanted to ask you. Was there actually cheese consumed by the housewives?
Oh, yeah. Everyone, because like at this show, so I think we taped around like, it was probably around 5 or 6, but when I say in between every commercial break, they refill your drink, like the interns are coming out with like full beverages. And so everyone is like kind of getting a little tipsy.
Yeah.
And I think by the end, a few of the housewives were like just staring at the cheese, being like, I want some. So we all kind of snacked afterwards. I actually got to show Jenna Lyons the book, which was awesome. And I gave her a copy. So she owns the book, which is amazing. Yeah. And then Uba and I got to talking, and she took a bowl of strawberries with her. And we were talking about her hot sauce brand. And then she actually invited me to the Fancy Food Show to go visit her at her booth, which then led to us being friends on Instagram. And Carrie from Cherry Bomb recently asked me to guest host an episode. So I got to interview Uba for Radio Cherry Bomb.
I loved it. I'll link to that in the show notes. It was a great episode that you guest hosted there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Carrie had COVID, so she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And she called me up, and I was honored that she considered me to do it. But it was awesome because we got to reunite again. And
are you gonna like hang with Uba? I feel like you're really close. You've done an interview. You've gone to the Fancy Food Show.
I mean, we're like friends through work, I'd say, you know, friends. Coworkers.
What cheese did you put out for this like tape segment? What were you serving that day?
Oh yeah, so I wanted to do a really elaborate grazing table that tied into themes of Real Housewives. So we had fake apples that were spray painted gold. Then we had real apples. So I kind of want to do like the apple tie-in. So then I did sharp cheddar. We did a really pretty whipped feta with edible flowers. There was brie, there was Gruyere. It was kind of like a bunch of different cheeses. We wanted to just make it feel super full and abundant because again, it's on camera. So you have to really make it look like it pops. So we used cake stands. We had the book out. We had a ton of flowers.
Yeah, it looked cool on camera. Yeah, it looked really nice. So we'll get to our trip. We're co-hosting the trip. It's going to be amazing. We're announcing it now. Link to it in the show notes. We're at the beginning of the holiday season, and I'd like to get your take on what's the state of the cheese plate?
Yeah, well, the holiday season is the cheese plate Super Bowl. This is where everyone takes out their cheese boards. They get to work. I think it's funny watching the cheese plate landscape change because, 2 or 3 years ago, probably 2020, it was all about like the super kitschy, like Christmas trees and ornaments and all in the shape of, cheese plates in the shape of these said things, which is still pretty popular. I think there's kind of two worlds in which I've noticed the cheese plate world has been going, where one world and one lane are creators who are making a lot of that kitschy content still, which does really well on TikTok. And, people want to create that at home so they can show their friends and be like, look at this fun thing. But I do think that there is a thirst for learning about what's on each cheese plate and like why pairings go together. Yeah. And it's not just random things just for Instagram or for TikTok. And I noticed this specifically for Halloween. I did Halloween candy and cheese pairings. And this was actually content that I originally posted in 2020, but I repurposed it with a new voiceover with more context. Yeah. And it did super well. And people were just really interested on like, first of all, it's fun to see something like Halloween candy elevated with cheese.
Right on, yeah.
But then second, it's really interesting for people to learn like, oh, well, why does blue cheese pair with something like Twix? Like, why would that work? So I do think that there is this lane now that, people, they learned how to make their cheese boards, they know how to make them look fun and holiday themed, but now what can they tell their guests about the cheese on the plate and how do these pairings work together? So it makes me really happy because I love to, educate people on pairings and whatnot. And I think it's having that audience there now who's really interested in
Which
that
I love
cool.
about what you do. I love your books. I'm a huge fan that you really bring context and knowledge. And it's not just Pinterest. It's not just for the aesthetic, though the aesthetic is pretty rad. And I just think that you're tapping into this audience who actually cares about the food, to care about the culinary side of it. When you were out on the road touring, and I love following you on Instagram, you had some cool events all over the country. Let me ask you, were there any boards or pairings that just stick out as like, wow, we really did something new here?
It's interesting because my book tour mainly was this concept that I called the cheese party. And it was a build your own cheese plate experience. So every event that I did had this large grazing table that was separated in step by step, cheese, meat, produce, crunch dip, garnish. Everyone can build their own cheese boards. So the items that went on each cheese board kind of depended on where we were, who we were partnering with, what kind of local cheese companies I want to work with. And one that stuck out particularly was Nashville, Tennessee. We did an event at the One Hotel, and the head chef was so excited to do this. And we worked together to really make an amazing spread of all of these incredible Midwestern cheeses. So we had Foxglove, which is one of my favorites from Indiana.
Yeah, I totally know that brand.
It was amazing.
That producer, yeah.
We had, of course, we had some California cheeses. My friends at Cypress Grove, they donated some stuff, which was great. But there was Sophia from Caparel Farms, which is one of my favorites. Like the cheese on this table was like A+, like the nicest artisanal cheese you can have, which for me, it was like a field day. And for a lot of people who were there, they didn't even, a lot of people had never even tried this type of cheese before, this high quality of cheese. And everyone was freaking out. They're like, wait, this is what cheese tastes like? I'm like, yes, this is what good cheese tastes like. It makes such a difference.
And it doesn't have to be extremely expensive, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could go to a cheese shop and, tell them your price range and they will cut to order, which is an amazing thing about, going to actual cheese shops. But yeah, I think, if you want to spend money, if you want to invest in anything on a cheese board, I'd say invest in the cheese first because it really does make such a difference. But with this whole tour, I just loved to be able to, we did an event in Santa Ynez and wine country there, and we had local wine from the region and then California cheeses there. And it was just so cool to kind of tap into the like micro communities of each tour date to feature those different cheeses.
Before we get to the trip, Taste Travels, I'd like to get a sense of your favorite region right now. Is there somewhere in the world of cheese that you're just compelled to write about, to taste?
I mean, this sounds biased because we're going here, but France specifically. So I was in Paris about a month ago, or probably now early September. I was in Paris, and I made it my mission to go to every cheese shop I could find there, just because they're all incredible. And Camembert de Normandy, it really is something so special because we don't get it in America.
Yeah,
the Camembert in America is like a mild, hard, buttery, flavorless. I mean, some are pretty good, but it's pasteurized here.
Exactly, it's pasteurized. It's a great cheese to put out if you're it's as an afterthought, I guess.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Camembert.
Yeah.
Before I went to France, I'd say Camembert was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But then I went to France and tried Camembert
the
de
raw
Normandy
stuff.
and was like, this is a whole new level. Another cheese I love there is Reblochon, which is another cow's milk cheese, super gooey on the inside. That's kind of from the Alp region.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. I'm going to Chamonix in France after Thanksgiving, so probably around the time this comes out. And I'm so excited to try all of the cheeses up in the Alps. They're just amazing.
It's cool. And we're going to get into the trip, and I'm linking to it in the show notes. Taste Travels is returning. You and I are heading to Normandy in August. Why pick Normandy? I feel like we started talking about this 6 months ago, and many different regions around the world that specialize in cheese. But why Normandy?
Well, Normandy has such a rich history in both cheese and history.
Yeah.
It's home to what they call the famous four, which are four cheeses known to the region, and that's Camembert de Normandie, Livarot, which is a pungent kind of wash rind cow's milk cheese, Point l'Evêque, which is a soft cow's milk cheese, kind of similar to a Camembert but in a more square shape, and then Neufchâtel, which is a heart-shaped cheese. And talking about history, a fun history fact that I actually found was that during the 100-Year War in 1337, the Dairy Maidens would offer English soldiers Neufchâtel. I'm probably butchering the name because I need to learn French before we go.
You're doing okay.
Neufchâtel.
Ooh, that's good.
There we go. They would offer English soldiers this cheese because it was in the shape of a heart, and it was a token of their affection.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, this is the thing about going to France and going to Europe specifically for cheese. You do not have that history of cheese in America. There aren't these stories and these folklores and these tales and, cheese making practices that have been passed down for generations and generations and protected cheeses. And I don't know. It's just, I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
It's well, I'm sure there's cheese on flags somewhere in Spain or Italy or France. Now, let's just go over what we're going to do because we've been working on this itinerary for a while and we're hammering out the final details now. But really, the structure of the trip is intense. It's going to be a lot of tasting, a lot of visiting. We're going to be visiting cities. We're going to be visiting producers. But do you have a few beats that you're excited about?
All of it from start to finish.
It's pretty exciting.
I think, we get into Paris and then we head out to the countryside. The landscape, first of all, is just so beautiful out there.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to a small town and stop by a farmer's market. If you've ever been to a farmer's market in France, it supersedes every farmer's market I've ever been to. It's, they have the most fresh produce and they have actual cheese stands that are like refrigerated cases just out in the open at the farm stands, which is incredible.
Really neat there.
But after that, we're going to a cider making farm and estate. Normandy is also known for Calvados, which is an apple brandy.
Yep.
So we'll be doing a Calvados tasting in a chateau.
Yeah.
There's just the whole itinerary sounds just very magical. And I think what I love too is that we kind of made the itinerary so that it's both action-packed but also relaxing.
Totally.
We're staying in a treehouse fort.
Yeah, I love that we were able to kind of stay in some hotels, but then in this treehouse.
Yeah, so this treehouse, it's called Étape en Forêt.
Yeah.
And it is a treehouse with a Nordic spa, and there's also zip lining. There's some action
No, it's
you
cool.
can do.
It's definitely more it's gonna be late August, so it's gonna be like a cool outdoorsy time. I'll just jump in and talk about Taste Travels because Taste Travels is this program that we launched last year. We went to Puglia with Susie Caraccio, one of our authors, like you, Marissa, and it was really cool because the travelers and us, we all kind of like got together and started talking about cookbooks.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about the making of a cookbook, about what goes into it. And we'll do this on this trip. I think it'll be obviously about cheese and visiting France, and there'll be a guide there who will give a lot of contextual history of the region. But then you and I are there to talk about food media stuff and
totally.
hang out and like go over ideas for possible future books and just talk about the process. And to be honest, the travelers liked that. And I think our listeners, if you're interested in going to France with us, we're going to really get into like a lot of the topics we cover on the show.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we're all hanging out for 6 days, so you can ask any questions.
Yeah.
We'll all be close friends by the end.
It's cool. And I swear it's not weird. Like if you've never gone on a group trip, and right, the sales pitch for Taste Travels, it's not weird.
It's not weird, we promise. You'll have cheese.
Yeah,
That's
you'll have
guaranteed.
cheese. No, but it's cool. I think there's been so many more of these opportunities, especially for all generations, really, about just like traveling as a group of like-minded explorers, traveling solo, traveling with a friend, and just like experiencing a new country with a bunch of people, including us. Like we've never been to these regions really in detail. I know you've been there, but not to these exact locations. And we all get to discover together. I found it really, really cool to be there with some like-minded people.
Oh, totally. And also just, in the post-COVID world now that we can gather and can travel, it just feels that much more special to do something like this. And especially with all the activities that are planned, like me personally, I'm a planner. And when I went to Europe in 2022, I did my Cheese, Pray, Love tour of Europe. I planned that whole thing myself. And boy, it was exhausting doing all of that. So the fact that this itinerary is set in stone and we're going to Mont Saint Michel, which is this most beautiful castle in the middle of like a sandbar. We're doing, beautiful dinners at Michelin star restaurants. And we're doing a lesson in French table setting.
I love that.
Which I love that ties into just, serving and entertaining. I just feel like, being able to do all of these things that are pre-planned, you just show up and you go. You don't have to think about the stress of transportation or of planning something or, what if this already got booked up? It's like, no, it's already ready to go, which for me, that just like saves so much hassle and stress.
Oh my gosh. And there's a different language here. So your proficiency in French may vary. And really, we have planned everything for you. There's also enough time off, which is, I think, important to note. We have some evenings off. And I think it's really important that you can travel and visit the cities on your own. Mont Saint Michel, I've always wanted to go there.
Me too.
Since I was very young. And I took French 101 in college. And I was Benoit. In high school, my name was Benoit.
I love that.
Yeah.
I was Marisol because I took Spanish.
You're Marisol. I was Benoit. I'll go by Benoit when I'm on my trip.
All right, so you'll be speaking French for us because yo hablo español.
Je parle petit français.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's definitely cool when someone else can do all that traveling, that planning for the traveling. So
yeah.
So again, it's in the show notes. We've linked to it. You can reach out directly to us on Instagram if you have any questions. But we'd love to see you there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Also, if you've never tried French cheese in France, you have to go. It's literally a life-changing experience. I'm saying this from someone who didn't until recently. I will never eat non-French. No, I'm kidding. French cheese is my favorite.
It hits
by far.
different. I
Yeah,
guess.
it hits different.
So let's close out. What are you working on right now? You've finished kind of your touring, but I'm sure you'll do lots of events. I guess you'll never really end because you're such a great host, and I love the events that you plan.
Oh, thanks.
But what are you working on right now?
So that cheese plate turns 10 this year in December, which is nuts. I started my Instagram account in December 2013.
That's insane.
Yeah. One
Holy
of the OG
moly.
Instagrammers.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing a huge party at Talea in Williamsburg.
Oh, cool.
So mark your calendars. By this time, tickets will be on sale. But it's going to be just like an epic cheese party bash. We're going to have, of course, build your own cheese boards. We're going to have like a gift wrapping station if you want to buy books. I'm trying to hire a flash tattoo artist to do like real tattoos of like cute illustrations of cheese and
I think that's really
champagne
cool.
and stuff. I might get an aura reader. I'm just trying to like go all out.
Aura readers are great.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have
It's basically
tattoos?
like a wedding. Yeah, I have 4, and I'm definitely going to get a cheese one.
I was going to say, which one? So if you get the flash tattoo artist, you have to obviously participate.
Yeah, so I had this like internal goal of I will only get a cheese tattoo if I hit 1 million followers or sell 1 million books, which like neither are close yet. So I figured maybe just 10 years is a good milestone for a cheese tattoo. So that I'm really excited about. We're partnering with a lot of cool brands for it. And it just feels like a really nice way to close out this year of the cheese party because of the book that came out and all of my events. It's just like I'm super excited for that. I just launched a series of private events in New York City that you can book. You can bring that cheese party to your home.
Oh, fun.
So I teamed up with this company called Health Chefs, and we can basically bring you a build your own cheese board station, and a private chef will come, set the whole thing up, give you a brief overview, and then you and your friends can build your own boards, take photos. We provide tablescape decor, flat lays for taking the photo and everything. So that's on my website.
Is this New York only?
It's like the tri-state area for now.
Tri-state. Yeah. What are we talking about? What's this running? What are you charging for this?
So for this, it's $160 a person.
It's not bad.
Which, as for like a private chef experience in your home, it's pretty good. And it comes with a lot of different, food items. And it's enough for everyone to make a 9x9 cheese plate, which for context, that serves about 3 people.
Yeah.
And then
you can take some home with you.
Yeah, you could take some home. We also have gift bags involved, like
cool.
Custom tote bags and stuff. So that is on my website, which is super exciting, especially for the holiday season. And then I'm brainstorming book number 3.
Yeah, so
which
book
is
3.
in my mind.
We'll be publishing book 3 down the road. I'm sure we'll have you back on to talk about that. But I'm going to see you in France. It's going to be really fun to do that.
I'm so excited. Like, this is just like on a personal note, doing something like this has truly been on my manifestation bucket list for years now. And when you guys approached me for this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just incredible. I'm so excited.
Come join us in France in August. On This Is Taste, we ask guests about their discerning taste. So to close this interview, Marissa, here's a little rapid fire Fast and Furious taste check. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, your favorite New York City restaurant right now?
Right now, I just went to Cozy Royale.
Oh, yeah.
And their burger was amazing.
What makes a good burger in 2023? That's hard. There's a lot of good burgers out there.
I know. I don't really love super smashed burgers. Like, I like to see a little bit of meat in there.
Yeah.
I also love burgers that have pickles on them.
Me too.
A little bit of tang.
Me too. I love a pickle on a burger.
And American cheese.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah. Always American cheese.
I mean, is there anything, like, is there a burger without a cheese in your universe?
No.
I was going to say, like, for me, I don't know a burger without cheese. I really don't.
Yeah.
The best dessert.
The Italian Job at Lilia.
Yeah. You know what I like about that? It's the temperature.
Yeah,
they serve
it's
it
not
perfect.
too cold.
It's not too cold. It's not like that hard pack ice cream or gelato that you get. Like,
oh no, it's amazing. And for people who haven't had this, it is a vanilla soft serve with olive oil, like really high quality olive oil, honey, fennel, and sea salt.
It's really, 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 really good. And again, the temperature is perfect, which is for a very hot restaurant.
Yeah,
they somehow make it work. It's crazy. The best bread.
She-Wolf sourdough in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
My favorite.
It's a great place. What's the best cheese to put on that bread?
Ooh.
I mean, it's impossible. What a dumb question.
Probably like camembert or brie.
Yeah.
Like a cheese that you can smear.
See, that's when it's too hard and you've got this like beautiful crusty bread, you're like separating it. It becomes like a weird, they don't marry.
Like hard cheese goes on crackers, soft cheese goes on bread.
Good tip.
Yeah. Or crackers too. But hard cheese on soft bread doesn't really work as well.
Triscuit or Ritz?
Ritz.
Right?
Yeah. Triscuits get a little crumbly.
Yeah. They also like cut your mouth and then you're sad. Couple more. Your favorite recent cookbook discovery?
Recent cookbook discovery. So this is one that I've known of for a while, but The Forest Feast. She has a series of cookbooks, and she actually did one in the Mediterranean, which was amazing. And her recipes are super accessible, but I just love how the book is laid out, and every recipe has like a watercolor page to it that she does herself too, which is cool.
I don't know that book. It sounds really neat.
Yeah, she has, I think, 4 in the series.
Nice.
Yeah.
Your favorite cookbook of all time?
The Flavor Thesaurus.
Wait, okay. So I know the Flavor Bible.
The Flavor Thesaurus.
So what are we talking about, man? This is great.
Okay, so the Flavor Thesaurus is like, it's not like a big, clunky cookbook. It's more of a smaller book, but essentially it's separated with the taste profiles and then goes deep into like probably, 3,000 types of food and what they pair with.
That's so cool.
It's all text. It's like no photos.
There's no photos. It's like really, but it's perfect for what you do.
It's incredible for pairings, yeah.
Yeah. A couple more. Your favorite vegetable?
Potatoes.
Which way?
Okay, this is my favorite question. We're going Inception into the question game.
Yeah.
top 3 favorite potatoes. That's like my favorite, like, if you're on a first date, what are your top 3 favorite potato styles? For me, waffle fries is number 1, curly fries is number 2, and latkes is number 3.
Oh my God, that's so good.
But like all fried.
No, of course. It's like you're definitely leaning
I'm a
the
fried potato
but
person.
I like the fact that you did waffle number 1.
Yeah, waffle is always number 1.
If you get a good waffle, I mean,
Like at a ski lodge.
What's that?
Like when you're skiing.
Oh, at a ski lodge. Yeah, of course. There's like I remember we had curlies at my middle school.
Oh,
I still think about those fries.
Right. And like the red cup, probably.
I think I'm probably gratin 3, like pomme frite 2, and then I'm definitely mashed 1.
Oh, well, it's your season. It's Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving, and I go 50-50 potato to butter ratio.
Oh, yeah, as you should. Throw a little cheese in there, too.
Oh, yeah, throw a little cheese in there. Last one, your favorite sandwich.
Okay. Turkey, lettuce, pickles, and cucumbers. Both.
Okay.
Pickled red onions.
Yeah.
Mayo, olive oil, vinegar, salt and pepper on a roll.
No cheese.
No. Oh, my God. Did I forget the cheese? American cheese or cheddar?
No, I knew that there was probably some cheese.
Wow. I literally have this written down next to me so I wouldn't forget, and I did not put cheese in there.
You're like breaking news. I'm lactose intolerant.
No,
it's been my secret forever. You think I really
God.
eat this stuff? No, I'm kidding. No, it sounds like an amazing sandwich, and I want to ask you, what's your brand of mayonnaise?
I like Hellmann's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you taken
East
money
Coast
from
girl.
Hellmann's?
I have.
Okay, there you go. I had to call
But this is not sponsored.
I know it's not.
Actually, when I did get a deal with them, which was for the Super Bowl last year, I was so excited because I was like, yes.
You're like, these are my guys. If Miracle Whip came and called with the paycheck, with the bag, probably wouldn't have been as exciting.
Right. And what I learned is I was in LA when I did this, and it's called Best Foods over there.
Yeah, I know. It's west of the Rockies, I think.
Same label, same font. Yeah. It's just Best Foods. I thought I was in an alternate universe. I'm like, what is this?
West of the Rockies, Best Foods. East of the Rockies, Hellmann's. Good stuff. Marissa Mullen, this has been fun. Thanks a lot for joining This Is Taste.
Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.
This Is Taste is hosted by Eliza Abarbanel and me, Matt Rodbard. The show is produced by Shalia Harris and Pat Stango and edited by Clayton Gumbert. Theme music by Steve Rydell. Visit Taste online at tastecooking.com and make sure to subscribe to our newsletter for updates on all cool things that are happening.